For this mock exercise, we're going to take a look at inventory of Durhurst ink. So let's take a look at the question. And they're using periodic inventory, FIFO, this time. And they're also doing perpetual. So we're going to do both methods in this case. This is a simple question. So this is the inventory transactions of a company called Durhurst. And these are the following inventory purchases and sale. And we've got two requirements. The first one is using the perpetual inventory system. And the second one is using periodic inventory system. But this time we're going to use FIFO. And what I've done is I've added the average in there. So we're going to actually do FIFO and average method under perpetual for part 1 and periodic for part 2. And we're asked to determine or calculate the ending inventory and cost of goods sold. So I created this very simple example to highlight the differences between both FIFO and average method, but how it differs even further using perpetual versus periodic inventory system. So why don't we start with perpetual. So under the perpetual inventory system, let's start with perhaps FIFO. Okay? So perpetual FIFO. So what I like to do is I like to do a chart because I just think it makes it so much easier to track. Right? So I've got date, I've got fee purchases, cost of goods sold, and ending inventory. So let's look at the first one. The first one, they had a beginning of November 1st. Beginning inventory of, so I'm going to put down beginning inventory. We had 15 units, 1,000 times $2.30, 34,500. Then on the 6th, we had a purchase, and we bought 50,000 units at $2.40. It's 120,000. So now at the end, ending inventory, so let me just put a straight line. Ending inventory, we have 15 at $2.30. And 50 at $2.40. Altogether, 154,500. Now, we had a sale on November the 11th, and we sold how many units? 40,000 units. Now, under the FIFO perpetual, the first 15,000 comes from the $2.30, and the remaining 25 came from the $2.40. So that makes up the 40. Okay, and that gives me 94,500. Now the ending inventory, what do I have left? I only have 25,000 units left at $2.40. So using perpetual FIFO, we've got to track the batches of inventory from different purchases. Okay? Now, on November 14th, we had another purchase. And this time we purchased 60,000 units at $2.60 to give us 156,000. So at the end of the year, we had 25,000 units at $2.40 plus 60,000 units at $2.40. $2.60 to give us altogether $216,000. Now, what happened on the 21st? We had a sale, and we sold how many units? We sold 75,000 units. So the first 25 came from $2.40, and that means the 50,000 that makes up the 75,000 comes from the $2.60. Altogether, that's 190,000. So our ending inventory, we only have 10,000 units left at $2.60. Now, on the 27th, we had another purchase of 70,000 at $2.70. And then the total ending inventory, we have 10,000 at $2.60 plus 70,000 at $2.70 give us 215,000. So altogether, if I was to do a subtotal, my total purchases, there were basically 1, 2, 3 purchases. I bought 50 plus 60, that's 110, plus 70 is 180 units. And I purchased 465,000. My cost of goods sold is I sold 40 units and 75 units. That's 115 units. And that is 190 plus 94,500 is 284,500. And my ending inventory is 215,000. So 80 units. So that is perpetual FIFO method. Now, what about periodic? So let me do FIFO first. So now we're doing perpetual average. Okay? So the way we do this is we normally, again, we're going to do the same chart. So we've got date, number of units, cost per unit, and this is total. So the way it works is you got beginning inventory. So we're going to use November 1st. We had 15,000 units at $2.30. That gives me 34,500. Now, we had a purchase of 50,000 units at $2.40. That gives me 120. Whenever there's a purchase and sale using perpetual average, we're going to take a look at, we're going to calculate the new average cost. So it would be 65,000. And the sum of this is 34,500 plus 120. That's 154,500. We're going to divide up by 65,000 units to give us an average of $2.3769. That's the new weighted average. Okay? Now, we had a sale on November 11th. We sold 60,000 units. No, we didn't sell 60, sorry, we sold 40,000 units. And we're going to actually cost it out at $2.3769. That gives us 95,076.92. This is my cost of goods sold. So how many units do I have left after the sale? I've got 40. I got 25,000 units. And of course, I have minus 154,500. That is 59,423. And I guess it's 8 cents. And if I take that divided by 25,000 units, it should come out to $2.3769 per unit. So every time there's a sale and there's a purchase, so this is the beginning inventory, this is a purchase, this is a sale, and now I have another purchase on the 14th, and this time we purchased 60,000 units, and that's $2.60. Again, I need to recalculate the new average. That's 85,000. And this is 156 plus 59,423.08. Gives me 215,423. Okay, divided by 85,000. Gives me $2.5344 per unit. So each time there's a purchase and sale, I have to recalculate the new weighted average. On the 21st of November, there was another sale, and we sold 75,000 units. And we're going to sell it, and the unit cost is $2.525344. That is 190,000. So this is 25,343.89, and this is 10,000 units. And again, it should be $2.5344 per unit. And then finally, we had a purchased. And the purchase is for 70,000 units. So now we have 80,000 altogether. And this purchase was $2.70. That's 189. So let's take 189 plus 25,343.89. That gives us 214. 343.89, and the per unit cost is $2.6792 per unit. So this is the cost of goods sold. So the total cost of goods sold is $95,076.92 plus $190,079.19. Okay, so let me add that up. Is 285, 156.11, and ending inventory, of course, is this one. You see the difference here. The cost of goods sold under FIFO is $284 versus $285, so it's not that much different. And the ending inventory is $214, $343, and this one's $215. So you could see it's not that much different because obviously the per unit cost didn't really significantly change. Now let's redo this under the periodic inventory system. Now, periodic under FIFO, okay, is as follows. So what this requires us to do is we need to determine, so remember the equation, beginning plus purchases gives you goods available for sale. And then that determines ending inventory and cost of goods sold. So we need to first calculate goods available for sale. So how do we do that? Well, we need the beginning inventory. Again, we need number, dollar. So beginning inventory, we had 15,000. And this one is 34,500. And we need purchases. And there were two purchases, right? There was 50,000. Actually, there were three purchases. There was 50,000 for 120. And that was on November the 6th. The second one is November the 14th. 60,000, $156. And the third one was November 27th. So total goods available for sale. So we know we have 195,000 units. And the total sum of this is $499,500. So that's goods available for sale. Now under FIFO, we have to calculate the ending inventory. We know that ending inventory, there were 80,000 units left in ending inventory. Now, because FIFO means that the first goods in is the first goods out, then we know that that's 80,000 must have come from the November 30th purchased, and the 10 must have come from the November 14th purchased. Okay, and the November 14th purchase was $2.60. So that's $26,000. So 189 plus 26,000 gives me 215. Okay? And by virtue of ending inventory being 80 and 215, that means that cost of goods sold must be the difference, which in this case, it is 115. And the difference is 215 minus 499,500 gives me 284,500. So that must be the cost of goods sold. Okay? So this ending inventory, so you'll see that the difference here is that we have to calculate the ending inventory. So under the periodic FIFO, we're going to take the equation beginning inventory plus all your purchases to give us goods available for sale. And what we have to figure out is what was our ending inventory. We know that there was only 80,000 units left, and that 80,000 must have come from, the buildup of that 80 must have come from the most recent purchase, that was 70 at 189, and that means that the 10,000 units must have come from the November 14th purchase at $2.60. So that must be your ending inventory. So if we subtract it from goods available for sale, that gives us our cost of goods sold. Now, if we were to do the periodic weighted average, how do we do that? Well, we already got the gas, right? The goods available for sale. So we already have goods available for sale is 195, number of units, and this is dollar, 499, 500, and the per unit is going to be the division, right? So 499, 500 divided by 195. The per unit cost is $2.56.5615. Ending inventory, we know there's 80,000 units at $2.5615. It's going to be 204 923 and 8 cents, which means that the cost of goods sold is 115,000 units at $2.5615. That's 294, 576.92. So the easy part about the periodic inventory system is the concept of having to calculate goods available for sale. So we know that goods available for sale is the 195, how we had 195 units, and how that came about is the beginning plus all the 3 purchases. And the total cost of those goods available for sale is $499,500. Under the FIFO periodic, we've got to figure out that 80,000 unit that was left, how much of that came from which purchase. But for the weighted average or the average method, all we've got to do is calculate the average cost for goods available for sale and use that to calculate the ending inventory and cost of goods sold. So much easier under the periodic system and much more complex under perpetual. Thank you.